we can start, but please, can you don't forget him to introduce your person, please.
Okay, I will begin with that, and it's also part of my slides. So I'm going to share my screen and then quickly introduce the talk and ourselves.
Mr. Khalid is with you.
Yes, he's also a part of the Zoom
He
call, I think.
can uh, can he make a translation
Yeah,
later?
yeah, sure, yeah.
Okay.
So if there is anything, it will be straightforward. The presentation is very visual, so it should be easy. Then, if there is anything, I can translate in French or in Arabic. So, je peux faire la
Très
transition s'il
bien.
y a une question, okay? C'est bien ou là en arabe ou l'arabe? Thank you.
Nous sommes gâtés.
Okay.
Merci beaucoup. Bonne
See.
chance.
Thank you very much, Mustafa, for the introduction. I'm Peter SOLYMOS. I'm joining you today from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. It's nice, big snow here. And thank you for this opportunity. So our friend Jamal Bakari offered us this opportunity to present some of our results or our approaches to machine learning and data science in general. And I'm going to give you a quick walkthrough of how this works, and excuse my lack of French. I'm going to do this in English, but with lots of visuals. So hopefully you'll be able to follow through the presentation, and also Khalid is here to explain anything. So please don't hesitate to ask. So I'm going to talk about our approach to end-to-end machine learning, and specifically to sports sciences, and how the two come together. So a little bit about myself, as you also wanted to hear this introduction. I have a background in biology. I have a PhD, and I've been working as applied statistician biologist for more than 15 years. I have experience with besides the biology and environmental sciences, lots of statistics and cloud computing. And this is how we all overlap a lot with our team, so that we complement each other. And I'm also a co-founder of this company where we are trying to make statistics, machine learning, artificial intelligence apply to all kinds of domains. And my colleague, Khalid, is a statistician with lots of experience with data science and environmental health science medicine. And he's a specialist in contaminant modeling. It would be really good to people to kind of build their dream applications that they might not be able to do, or which might cost a lot to do. And we, with our experience, we can kind of shortcut that. And as you will see, we can quite easily and fast create products and applications that speak to your data. And so what we have encountered during our various appointments. Yes?
So Peter, if you have something slide to share.
Oh, you're not seeing my slide?
No.
Sorry about that. I thought I'm sharing my slides. Let me see, what am I sharing here?
Oh, I see it.
Hello.
Desktop. Okay, let me try a different one. Can you see it now?
Hey, Mustafa, I can see it.
Yes.
You see it? Okay,
Yes.
cool.
So this is me.
Okay.
I was introducing myself. This is Khalid. And so I'm just double checking you can see the slides, okay? All right. So what we've seen over the past year and decade through working with various clients and organizations is that they have some really basic issues with how to, so they have lots of data and great insight and scientists, but how they not working together as efficiently as possible, and how they are not being able to connect all the dots and make that data useful. So this is what we saw, that this data science and machine learning is inaccessible to most of these people because it costs quite a lot, or they are not really scoping the problem accurately. They might miss some of the domain expertise. These are all preventing them to eventually use their data to make important decisions. There is also a problem with the data. So oftentimes when we work with data and dream about an application, often we run into data issues that we need to first solve so that we can then build models and make predictions, do some kind of predictive modeling and make decisions based on that. So if we never overcome these data obstacles, then we won't be able to make our decisions. And so this might come to significant loss in different domains, but also it is a big risk in any kind of domain. And so we thought that if data is the problem, then we should probably try to focus and fix that. But it's often complex, and lots of departments are responsible for different parts of the data, and how to combine that and how to comb it together. That is often really hard because it's not just dealing with the data itself, but dealing with organizational structures and people. And they might have very different ideas about how that should be done. So we really realized that at the data, very basic raw data level, that's the first step we need to kind of overcome. And if we look at these implementation challenges across various stakeholders and organizations, then we see there's a whole spectrum of people and organizations. Some are really data driven and they already have everything set up, and they communicate with each other, and they can put together various different data sources. But there are some others who might need more help. And there are also lots of other challenges, not just organizational, but how to make this happen, how to find the best expertise or hire that expertise, what kind of tools and software you need for these people to work most efficiently. So this is another area where we thought we can provide some guidance for these organizations to work more efficiently. So what we realized is that you need expertise, which is the people. You need the right tools to make this happen, which is then going to translate to your business performance, or in more better, like in general terms, just better decisions based on your data and your analytics. So you can build that expertise in-house, or also you can partner with other organizations who are going to help you. And this is where we come in. So oftentimes we are dealing with firms, consultants who are not really big in terms of how many people are working there. And so they don't really have their own analytics or machine learning department. And so we are providing the data science, machine learning expertise as a service for these organizations. And so what we do is that we listen and understand their problem and what they are trying to do, and work with their data and their stuff to figure out how to make that happen, and what kind of tools we can bring to the table to provide this software as a service. So this way we can enable accurate predictions, which is going to improve business performance. So this is a an image that is oftentimes mentioned on the internet, how data science is really an intersection of three different areas. The most important is the domain knowledge. So if you are working in environmental sciences, then obviously that becomes how the different contaminants travel through the air or water. If you're working, as you all, in sports sciences, then that's the domain knowledge, how to take the physiology and all the data and how to make sense of it, what kind of optimizations you want to achieve. And then this is complemented with computer science, which is more about how to make things happen, how to write the code right, how to just enable that application. And the math and stats comes in as that kind of is the backbone behind all this, and how the different data points relate to each other, kind of finding those correlations and multivariate patterns, especially if we're trying to find patterns that we don't already know. So we are more in a data exploration or that kind of phase, then math and stats, as you will see in our example, is going to help a lot. And people often show these three circles, but in our mind, there's also this rectangle surrounding the three circles. So it's not just three circles in a void, but you need to be able to put these three circles in a context that helps you make all of this great result that you achieved as a result of collaboration between domain knowledge, computer science, and math stats, so that you can present it to stakeholders and to the public. And that requires this analytics delivery platform so that you can share your results in a nice, interactive, and meaningful way. So we adopted this hybrid approach where we combine the knowledge of your business with our computing skills and analytics. So our approach is that we first sit down and identify those initiatives that are worthy to pursue and best align with your desired outcomes. So we apply prioritization and design thinking at this phase so that we discover and sit down with our clients to figure out what is that they really need. And then comes the enable phase, which provides this robust foundation for advanced analytics. And this is where we combine different data sources. Some data might come in nice and clean. Some data might come in from various databases or unstructured because it's scraped from various websites. So how to make those normalized and talk to each other, make those transformations, store those, and automate all this pipeline as much as possible. Then once the data foundation is ready, then we can create those machine learning algorithms and models that are going to form the basis of our decisions so that our clients can act on their data and gain actionable insights through interactive data visualization. And I would like to underline this visualization and interactive part, because we found that it is the most important part of this whole process, so that our users can play with the data that helps understanding how things relate to each other. And it's much more efficient than looking at the long table and try to make sense of it. It is not impossible, but it just greatly facilitates the whole process. And then at the end, we look at what we have done so far and try to come up with building blocks that we can reuse in a different context, or just find efficiencies in how to repeat this whole process, because maybe the data is updating daily or every month, every year. So we need to kind of go back and go around this circle deal with the data, update our models to be able to make those decisions. So how to make this repeatable and recycle as much as possible. So if you look at these 4 steps, then this is our DEAR or DEAR approach that we found kind of distills the process that we have employed in our past work. So now I'm going to show you an example. And so just to sum up again, what we are trying to do here is that we have various data sources that we are combining together. And this is the step where we clean the data, normalize the data, and usually we deal with either streaming data or lots of measurements, and that can come from various sensors and can be live streaming data as well. So that as frequently as needed, we test and train our models, and we prefer this no black box approach, which means we really want to understand not just how to make the best prediction, but also what is driving those predictions, because that is really helpful when you try to go back and change things, or not just kind of knowing what the future might hold, but also if you want to change that outcome, what you need to do and how to influence that outcome through your input variables. And then at the client side, we create these dashboards that they can use to connect the dots and make all those data accessible through interactive visualization. So now I'm going to show you this simple example that we modified based on an existing application. This contains data from various soccer players from simulated games. And you can select a player and then do some filtering based on their overall scores. And I'm going to talk about scores in a bit. Their physical parameters, like what is their height, what is their position in the game, whether they are right foot or left foot. And so this data set contains lots of games from 2019. The data was scraped from a website. You can find the information here. The Pro Evolution Soccer, electronic soccer game website. And what this data has is lots of variables that you can see here in this graph, kind of scoring these players through the games. And so you have all the data, which is 12,000 data points for each of those axes that you can see here. And along these axes, explosive power, speed, stamina, balance, coverage, reflexes, and so on. All the players are scored in each of the games. And so based on this multivariate data set, then you can look at how they compare to each other and read like all these average scores. And what you can see here in the right is that you can pick a player here, Ronaldo, for example, and then the k-nearest neighbor algorithm, which is a machine learning algorithm, is going to find the 10 most similar player to that one that you selected. And now I can compare them by clicking on their names, and I'm going to see the more their areas overlap, the more similar they are. And I can just show all 10 at the same time and see, yes, they are pretty similar. Now, if I begin with someone else, Sergio Ramos, and update my filters, then I'm going to see a different outline. So he's better at header and jump and physical contact and this part of the scoring. And I can see now the players who are more similar to him if I overlay them, then I see, yes, these clouds are more similar to this guy. And so if I can now pick another one, then I see a different pattern and the 10 most similar players again attached to this graph. So this is a very simple application that we just wanted to highlight, that once we have the data cleaned, then we can create these nice visualizations which are interactive and kind of distill 12,000 rows into a simple graph where you can do some filtering and explore how the different players are scored along these axes and who belong to kind of a group who are more similar in terms of their playing styles or their behavior, and then explore players this way. And this applies to, you can generalize the same ideas and concepts to all kinds of sports data. If you have streaming data and physiological measurements, you can do clustering the same way, which is going to form these groups where you can look at similarities and differences across players or other objects. And this way you can understand what is driving these patterns that you're looking at. So if you want to learn more about this application, the link is going to be provided on our website, which I'm going to show in a few moments. So we're creating these applications that can combine tables and different integrations of data sets, maps, time series. Time series is really important in this context to arrive to these interactive visualizations. And we are also helping not just to make this from the data to the application, but we're also providing services to host these applications and enable them to share with other stakeholders and clients. And we do this without lots of licensing fees, because a lot of applications that are out there are really prohibitive in terms of what people can and cannot do. And there's a really big price tag on them. And we are trying to liberate people from this and trying to provide them a better alternative. And so if you go to our website, enliteam.io, then you are going to see some of our demo applications, which include, for example, our COVID-19 data set and exploration as well. You can read about our approach more. Thank you very much for your attention and for allowing us to present to you. And I open up for question, and then Khalid can also jump in and answer. Thank you.
Thank you for this valuable intervention. Mr. Khalid, if you can briefly resume in Arabic what the Professor Peter was dealing with this interesting intervention, please.
Bonjour. En français, arabique?
Arabic, please.
Arabic. فالسلام عليكم. فماذا شرح بيتر هو يعني كيف نحن مجموعة من علماء من الإحصائيين الذين يعني حاولنا أن نسهل ماشين ليرنينج، يعني الذكاء الصناعي. هو ليس سهل. حينما إذا تقول فأنت مثلا أنتم تملكون مثلا أنتم في هذا، لنفرض مثلا أنت مدرب، فأي مدرب يريد أن يكون الأحسن، وتكون الأحسن يجب أن تستعمل كل المعلومات الذي عندك حتى يعني أين تضع هذا اللاعب وأين تضع هذا اللاعب وأستلعب مع الصباح أو المساء، يعني optimization. وهذه يعني طبيعة العقل البشري نستعمل هذا، نحن نستعمل، نريد أن نكون الأحسن والأفضل والأسرع وهكذا. والآن يعني ماذا يجري في العالم أن كل يعني أغلب الديسيجن القرارات نريد أن نأخذها based on data، يعني أن نستعمل المعلومات والذي عندنا ثم نستخرج القرارات على هذه المعلومات. المشكل الذي تقع فيه أغلب الشركات هو أننا هذا ليس سهلا. تريد يعني عالم في الإحصاء يعني أو مختص في الإحصاء، مختص في علم يعني artificial intelligence، تريد software like Azure software، وهذا حوالي $50,000 يعني فقط. فقط الشركات الكبرى هي التي تمكنها أن تستعمل هذا يعني هذا data driven، ولكن الشركات الصغيرة لا تملك هذه القدرة على فعل ذلك. فنحن أتينا من هذه فقلنا ماذا لو سهلنا على كل الشركات الصغرى حتى تصنع ما تريد. فما تتابع الشركة فتقول لك أنا لا أستطيع، لماذا؟ أريد statistician يعني إحصائي $150,000، والسوفت وير ديفلوبمنت $150,000، وأزير ماشين ليرنينج سوفت وير حوالي $50,000 للواحد. فأنت حوالي $500,000 يعني تصنع أن آب. فلا يمكن. فأتينا وقلنا سنسهل هذه المشكلة بأن نقوم بهذا العمل. فنحن نقوم يعني نذهب إلى الشركة ونقول ما هو المشكل؟ فيقولون عندي لاعبون وأريد أن أقوم ب عندي معلومات عن اللاعبين. ما هي المعلومات التي عندنا؟ العمر، الطول، السرعة كذا. وماذا تريد؟ أريد أن أعرف أين هذا اللاعب، أي أحسن منطقة مثلا. فنقول وكيف استعمل ذلك؟ فيقول لي مثلا أعلم أنه إذا كان سريعا وطويلا وعنده فممكن أن يكون في هذا المكان. فنقول له أوكي أنت عندك هذه المعلومات؟ فيقولوا لي نعم. فنأخذ نحن هذه المعلومات ونسهلها ونضع يعني النموذج الريادي الذي يأخذ هذه المعلومات كلها ويعطينا الريزلت، يعطينا for example scores. okay? فنحن يعني نعمل مع المختصين في المجال ونساعدهم على خلق الابليكيشن الذي تستعمل. فinstead of I tell you وأقول لك هذه application وتقول ولكن هذه application لا في ربما في كندا تعمل، في الجيري لا تعمل. لماذا؟ لأن عندنا الجو حار وعندنا التربة كذا وعندنا كذا وكذا. فهل ممكن أن تبدلها حتى تكون يعني مناسبة للجزائر؟ فهذا ما نفعل. فنقول no problem we customize it for you. okay we'll build it for you. نقوم يعني بجمع المعلومات لك، نقوم يعني صنع الابليكيشن، نقوم بالموديل ونشرحه لك ثم نضعه لك very visual. فهمت؟ فالآن أنت لست مجبرا حتى تذهب عند مايكروسوفت وتشتري السوفت وير ب $50,000 وتذهب تبحث على إحصائيين كذا لأنه صعب. نقوم لك والسعر حوالي 80% أقل. So it's we call it how to democratize data science. كيف نجعل data science and machine learning accessible لكل الناس. أي واحد، ليش كل الناس يعني الشركات ممكن يجلس ويضع يعني الموديل ويفهم ماذا يفعل وأنهي الشيء ثم نضعه there and it's online. It's on the cloud. So basically and you pay like monthly. فهذه هي يعني الابروتش هو الذي نقرب له. والابروتش هو لا تعطيني سمكة ولكن علمني كيف اصطاد. instead of I give you like an application who is there, نصنع لك application that fit your need التي يعني مختصة لتحك ظهرك يعني لتجاوب المشكل الذي عندك. وإذا عندك more data we add more data you add. For over time why? For over time أنت تستعمل كل المعلومات التي عندك بالطريقة التي تريد وتقسمها مع الناس الذي تريدون، وممكن 10 أو 5 أو 6 يعملون في application. ف it's you يعني مثل يعني مثلا بسيط، تريد أن تشتري سيارة، فتشتري السيارة مثلا في كندا، ولكن سيارة في كندا يعني صنعوا للطقس البارد. فنأتي إليك ونقول لك سنأخذ هذه السيارة الكندية ثم نبدل العجلات وهذا حتى تكون لك في البليدة في هذا الطقس وهذا الكندية. So that's the general idea. Then by the end في الأخير أعطينا مثلا للاعبين حوالي 150 لاعبا، وهؤلاء اللاعبين عندهم يعني جمعت معطيات حول لياقتهم، حول طولهم، حول سرعتهم، حول دقات قلبهم، وبعد ذلك أردنا أن نستعمل هذه المعلومات لنرى من هم اللاعبين الذين لهم عند نفس الخصائص. فتضع مثلا رولاندو فيعطيك كل اللاعبين 10 اللاعبين الذين يعني قريبون من خصائص فيجوال، ثم وهذا كلاسترين، يعني عندك مجموعة من الأشياء تضع هذه الأشياء هنا لأنها متماثلة، وهذه الأشياء هنا لأنها متماثلة، وهذه الأشياء هنا. فهذا I hope this help يعني.
شكرا جزيلا. حمزة تفضل. لكن
يعني ولا غير الأخ الدكتور خالد يعني شرح لنا شرح وافي باللغة العربية، يعني فهمنا كم المداخلة. حبيت نسأله سؤال برك فيما يخص الرياضات اللي تعاملوا معها هما وخدموا لهم ديزابليكاسيون، يعني اشتغلتوا مع عدة رياضات؟
نحن لم نشتغل، يعني نحن جديدين الآن حوالي 3 سنوات، فاشتغلنا في يعني في علوم الأمراض. اشتغلت في علوم الأمراض وعلوم القلب وفي الانفايرمنت، ولكن الرياضة لم نشتغل. يعني بدأنا نفكر يعني كيف أتينا إلى هذه المحاضرة. عندنا واحد يعني صديقي هو مدرب، كان مدربا يعني كان بطلا في مسافة 1500 متر في الجزائر، ثم جاء إلى كندا والآن مدرب يعني كندي هنا. فقال لي يا خالد يعني هل ممكن أن تستعملوا هذا الابروش قلت له نعم، هذا الابروش تستعمله في أي فهمت، في أي مدى، ولكن تريد الأخصائيين يعملون معك. فأنا ريادي، فمثلا جمال سيشرح لي، أنا حينما كنت أذهب عنده ليعمل لي هذا شو الحذاء ونضعه تحت الحذاء يعني. فكان يعني، وهذه يعني أنا أعرفه حوالي 20 سنة يعني صداقتنا. فهي was measuring things for me. يقول يا خالد كذا يعني امشي كذا، ضعي رجليك، وكان يعني يأخذ مقاسات على الانجل، على الزاويه وكذا وكذا. فكنت اقول له والله يا اخي لو ساعدتني لا اعمل لك ان ابلكيشن فور ذات. فجمال هو الذي يعني اتصل بي حوالي اسبوع، قال لي هل تريد؟ قلت له والله انا we haven't chance، ولكن لو وقعت لنا يعني نحب ان لو اي احد يريد ان يعمل معنا ونعمل معه. he does not have to pay us. يعني انت مثلا عندك مشكل وقلت لي يا خالد أنا عندي هذه المعلومات وهذه تريد you can start an application، هل تستطيع أن تعمل لنا application؟ فممكن أن نعمل لك. والغريب أنها يعني تأخذنا حوالي من الوقت، نأخذ حوالي شهر من الوقت. we are very fast. يعني حوالي شهر عندك المعلومات، you have an application، you have it is there. فهمت؟ فالجمال هو ليس هنا، ولكن يعني بخلاصة عندنا كل الأدوات لنصنع أي application you can imagine ونضعه online with everything. فنحن نصنع software for the clients.
حلول لأي مشكلة كانت.
أي مشكلة.
حمزة البيانات مطلوب
بالبيانات ثم نضعها لك if you have like websites in there. فمثلا أنا أريد أن أذهب، أنا ريادي أعمل معك، أريد أن أراها، أذهب أضع يوزر نيم باسورد، أدخل وأرى كل شيء. فهمت؟ and I pay يعني أدفع حوالي $5 و$10 أو $20. فنحن نصنع الابليكيشن لأي واحد ويمكن له يعني أن يبيعها أو أن يستعملها أو هو. فهمت؟ it's like Excel. you know Excel؟ أنت تعرف Excel، هو يعطيها لك the same. بس instead of Excel an application of machine learning visualization يعني artificial prediction anything you can imagine.
الأخ خالد الممثل على الأخ جمال، الأستاذ جمال هو الأستاذ مجبور مدير مؤسسة تكنوبارك.
ايوه جمال.
اهلا اخ خالد.
اهلا،
كيف الحال؟
والله الحمد لله رب العالمين.
جمال صديق وجمال متخرج من نفس الجامعة اللي متخرج منها الأخ مصطفى حسني، كمان هو مستشار في الرياضة، والأخ حمزة غضبان هو تانيك بروفيسور في هذا المجال. شكرا. I wanna thanks Mr. Peter for his presentation, and I wanna thanks you too for your translation. It was very good, and we are very pleasure to have you with this presentation. نشكركم كثير على هذه المحاضرة اللي قمت بإنجازها، وكنت أود أن أعلم الجميع أن الابليكيشن is not only for sport. ما يقدمونه كحلول ليس للرياضة فقط والتدريب، يمكن في المانجمنت، يمكن في التسيير، في كل المجالات.
شكرا. الأخ طارق كمل تسيير الجلسة. بعض الأسئلة ممكن لمدة 10 دقائق.
عندي
خذ سؤال
من المتدخلين.
سؤال واحد والله لكل متدخل.
مهم. عندي une question pour monsieur Nicolo. Si vous permettez, vous êtes là, toujours là, monsieur Nicolo?
Oui, absolument.
Oui. Enfin, il y a monsieur Mansouri qui avait posé une question. Il dit, quelle est la formule utilisée pour quantifier la charge d'entraînement par les GPS? Quel coefficient vous utilisez entre charge d'entraînement et données de compétition?
Alors, il n'y a pas de formule pour la charge d'entraînement. Ça, c'est au préparateur de l'utiliser. Nous, on donne que les données brutes. Donc, il a les données qui servent à appliquer à une formule qu'il va utiliser, en tout cas que le préparateur utilise, et c'est via ses formules personnelles qu'il peut quantifier tout ça. Et le choix est simple, c'est que justement, les formules, c'est très personnel, ça dépend du préparateur. Et à date, on n'est toujours pas d'accord sur quelles sont les bonnes formules pour quantifier la charge d'entraînement. En Italie, il y en a une, en Angleterre, il y en a une autre, etc. Et donc, nous, pour l'instant, on ne travaille qu'avec les données brutes, et le préparateur moyen, on va dire, il collectionne les données, il les télécharge sur Excel, et avec Excel, il les sélectionne, il les introduit dans ses algorithmes à lui. Et après, par exemple, moi, j'ai vu des préparateurs qui avaient des barres avec les pourcentages. Donc, ils savaient que le joueur était à, par exemple, 80% d'énergie. Ça, c'est un exemple.
Merci, monsieur Nicolo. Et on vous remerciera jamais assez pour avoir surtout partagé avec nous. Et le partage est vraiment un truc exceptionnel et très noble. Donc, merci pour votre noblesse.
C'est moi qui remercie. C'est moi qui dois être reconnaissant pour l'opportunité.
Merci beaucoup. Une autre question pour monsieur Peter. Est-ce qu'on pourrait un jour voir des logiciels de détection multivariée. Can we one day see multivariate detection software for young talent?
You see, I was in Arabic. يعني أنا تابعت محاضرة الأستاذ نيكولو، فهي يعني جميلة، وما رأيته أنهم يجمعون يعني كثيرا من المعلومات، يعني بحر من المعلومات. ولما كنت أراها يعني رأيتها وقلت لها يعني هذه المعلومات مثلا يعني يأخذون GPS، والGPS ماذا يقوم بستريمينج داتا، يعني أنت تعلم تقريبا يعني perfectly the guy, his speed, his heart, his sweat، يعني كل شيء. فممكن يعني تقع هذه variable، يعني variable، وهم نقوم variable، ماذا نقول بالعربية variable؟ متغير. الله يرحم أبوك. فهذه المتغيرات يعني في الصحة لا تتغير وحدها. حينما يتغير دقات قلبك